Hey, what's going on, my
Semper
brother?
Fi, brother. Semper Fi.
Hoorah. Yes, sir.
Well, let's kick this off. It's the last hour. You're coming in to close the show out tonight. I truly appreciate you. And now, look, we're bringing in the Marine closers tonight. So that's what it's all about. So this is Monte. Monte, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and give them your history because, we walk the same path a little bit.
Absolutely, man. And I appreciate you. To God be every bit of the glory. You said be myself. I want to represent Williston Elko. That's where I'm from. That's where it started from. So I'm over here in Fort Worth, Texas, but I'm not from Texas. I'm from a little small town in South Carolina called Williston, about 2,800 people. Two
Wow.
stoplights, two grocery stores, one big restaurant called Hardee's. There's not much over there. And I came in a single parent. It's my mom. My mom had a brother that retired Navy is in Florida, another brother who was killed in a train accident on the Marine Corps birthday in
Wow.
2004. And I came into the Marine Corps in 1991. And the reason why I came into the Marine Corps is because I wanted help with my mom. I
Mhm.
grew up food stamps, welfare, Section 8 housing, the box lunches in the summertime. There's really wasn't much out there for me. So I said to myself, I know I can go to college, but I want to make sure that I have some money that I can actually, take care of my family. So taking care of my mom, I came through the Marine Corps. I did 26 years, retired Master Sergeant in the Marine Corps. I spent time over in Okinawa, Japan, my last 6 years in Okinawa, Japan. Also, I was on the Marine Corps recruiting duty
Mhm.
in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey,
And I love that experience. And right now, my focus right now is faith. I'm taking a look at my wall right now. I got posters and cars all around me. It's faith, family, and everything else. I got my beautiful wife Kiyomi, who's
mhm.
a Japanese local national. She trusted me to come here over to the stateside. So she's here with me right now. I have my baby boy Micah, who is 21 months old, going on 21 years old.
Yeah, that's
I'm
right.
40. I'm 47 years old. I'm a 47-year-old papa. I got to stay in shape. I got to stay in the gym because I can't have him cross me up whenever he's 15, 16 years old.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
right, and right now, my focus is to do what I can to serve. That's what I heard Boo talk about this earlier. It's about purpose, and my purpose in life is to give absolutely everybody that's in my path 100% of me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can't agree with you more. And we talked the other day and just about, how important building relationships on a foundation of faith really is. And that's your topic for tonight. And I could not agree with you more. And coming from a life of, being Marines, we believe that. I mean, we believe that our job is to build people up. Our job is to be leaders, right? As we grow. And you've been doing that and you did it for 26 years in the Marine Corps, right? So talk a
Yes,
little
sir.
bit about that.
Absolutely. I'm going to take you back to day one, stepping on the yellow footprints, San Diego, parasailing, simplified all the Marines out there. I know some are watching right now. I came into the Marine Corps in 1991, 5'10", 125 pounds, hula hoop through a Cheerio. That was me. And the whole time I was in, I always said to myself that I wanted to do 20 years.
Yeah.
Without a shadow of a doubt, I said 20 years, I want to do my 20 years and retire. And one thing about myself, I always wanted to make sure that I was a team player.
Yeah.
Coming up, we have different ranks. You already know this, simplify to you.
Yeah.
At the corporal level, I always said that I want to look at the good leaders and the bad leaders, and I'm going to be the total opposite end of the spectrum of the bad. Because
Yeah.
I can learn from them all. And as I continue to go on through my time, I said to myself, I got to make sure that I do things for me, but what's going to happen for the ones that's going to be here long after I go.
Yeah.
So first 10 years for me was setting the foundation from private first class or private to staff sergeant E6. I had to set the foundation for myself. And I said, okay, well, now the last 10 years on the downside, what can I do to help pass torches to the next generation? So my thing is, I want to know more about people because I have a vested interest in those that want to go out there and one day take my place. So if they're going to take my place, I have to give them every single thing that I have, and I spent time, over, like I said before, on recruiting duty, building more relationships because we see them before they come into the Marine Corps
Yeah.
and always treated them as family. because sooner or later you might be working with those people. They never worked for me. I said work with me. They're going to be working with me one day. And lo and behold, two of them I ran into. One is actually, I think she's a gunnery sergeant right now, E7 in the Marine Corps. So I spent my time in there, spent time in Afghanistan over in Camp Leatherneck and for 1 year. It was a trying experience. I wasn't outside the wire, but, it was some danger. It was some fears out there, but I knew I had a purpose. I knew when I raised my right hand, supporting and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, I had to give everything that I have. And I just continue to do that. And I have a lot of friends. I have a lot of people that's still in the Marine Corps. So the Marine Corps, this, it's always going to be in the blood, no matter what. And so my 26 years, it's been a blessing to be able to serve that long.
Yeah, absolutely. There's nothing like being a Marine. I don't care. I know there's a lot of people from a lot of other services, and everybody's proud of the time that they spent, and the time that they served. But, obviously to me and you, our time is, we bleed Marine, that's who we are. That's what we were, every piece of every part of our body is Marine. And I don't care who you are, the mantra of once a Marine, always a Marine, that holds true. There's no such thing as ex-Marine. That's what we talk about. So I couldn't agree with you totally. Couldn't agree with you more on that. So I loved every day in the Marine Corps. Unfortunately, I was medically retired at 14 years, but I continued to serve around the Marine Corps. But, my time in the Marine Corps, I felt like it was our job to build relationships. It was our job to build, and I agree with what you said. This was always my thing. When I go into combat, right? When we go into combat, it's my job that this person next to me, and I was a pilot, so I always had a co-pilot sitting next to me. I always had a crew in the back, right? In the back, we were a team, right? When things go down, we're a team. So it's my job I don't care who you are, we have to be a team. We have to build each other up. And that's just how it is, whatever job it is, So, yeah. So talk a little bit about, so in the Marine Corps, all the jobs that you did real quick.
I'll take it back to day one, graduating from boot camp over in Paris Island. Went over, my first job was communications center operator, message traffic and those types of things. So I did that for a couple of years over in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina.
Yeah.
And that's Jacksonville.
Yeah.
And then after that, I went over to Okinawa, Japan. And this is a quick story. I was going to get out of the Marine Corps in 1994. A lot of people don't know this. So people watching don't know this. So remember I was talking about bad leaders.
Yeah.
So in my first, none of them I keep in contact with right now.
Yeah.
So my first duty station was 8th Marine Corps Regiment, 8th Marine Regiment in Camp Lejeune, and I had some terrible leadership. And I was at what we call a combined arms exercise over in 29 Palms, California, and I was walking around. Yes, a flashback. I know I got you. So I was walking around. I'm like, this is my last deployment. This is my last deployment. This is my last deployment. Because I thought the Marine Corps was that duty station.
Yeah.
And so I got orders to 7th Comp Battalion over in Okinawa, Japan. A total shift, plug out for it. And now it's a Master Gunnery Sergeant, Victor Richardson. I still keep in contact with him. He took me underneath his wing. I never had that before. So I said, well, this is bad leadership. This is good leadership. I'm going to gravitate to that. And so I started seeking out mentors, seeking out people that's actually doing great things. So I had to kind of find myself. And I was what we call a senior lance corporal at that time. Went over and made a lateral move, which is a job change, over to Camp Johnson, North Carolina, Marfa Point. And when I went over there, I was there for 4 years. I was walking around with a hash mark.
Yeah.
I was walking in my alphas with a hash mark, and people thought that I got in trouble and those type of things, but I never got in trouble. I was just in an MOS that was kind of close for promotion. Yeah. And so at the end of the school, because the points, I went over my points, I got that promotion to corporal, and everything kind of balanced out. So from there, stayed over in Camp Lejeune, worked at base property, worked at base maintenance. Just recently reconnected with Master Sergeant Pacheco, that actually was a mentor of mine. And then there was another one by the name of Master Gunnery Sergeant Byron Gill, God rest his soul. He kind of groomed me for recruiting duty. Had no idea he was going to groom me for recruiting duty. He told me to go to the store and get a planner. I'm like, why is this guy telling me to get a planner? He was a staff sergeant at the time. And so lo and behold, he was teaching me how to organize my day, and this was back in 1995, 1996.
Yeah.
It's 2020 now, and a lot of people see me being organized, but they don't know it started a long time ago.
Yeah.
And so, lo and behold, I did that. I went on recruiting duty in 2000 in Rock Hill, South Carolina, Monroe, North Carolina.
Yep.
And then I finished out as what we call a staff HUIC over in South Charlotte. Spent my 3 years there. Now, I still have a lot of love for Monroe and Matthews and those types of areas. And from there, I went over to Iwakuni, Japan, MWSS 171, and I got a taste of coaching. I'm a basketball guy.
Yeah.
As good as Grayson was, I'm a basketball guy, and I always believe in teamwork. And so I want to be a part of a team. And so I was a part of that team over there. And then I also coached softball. And so there was a Master Gunner Sergeant Sanchez. I know I'm throwing out ranks right now.
That's all right. That's all right.
So he said, well, I think you could be a coach. And so I never coached before. And so what I did is now I became the coach of softball, and there was another guy by name of Grant, last name is Grant. He said, well, I think you'd be a good basketball coach. That was in 2004, 2005. It's 2020. And so I ended up coaching. We ended up winning championships in softball, finishing that. We ended up winning championships over in basketball. And then from there, I came back. I went to Fort Worth, Texas, 8th Marine Corps District, the other side of recruiting, which is support. I was supply chief, the 8th Marine Corps District over in Fort Worth, Texas, which is right here in Carswell. I did my time there, and then I was an individual. I found I was an individual augment to go up to Afghanistan. So I got orders to Tarawa, 2nd Marine Regiment. I got orders there, went over to Afghanistan in 2010 to 2011. And then from there, spent about 3 months there, got promoted to the rank of Master Sergeant. And then I went over to Okinawa, Japan, 2011, 2017. Met a lot of amazing people over there, a lot of mentors, a lot of people that I still keep in contact to this day. And every single step that I took, Matt, I went out and I reached out to mentors. I reached out to those that are successful, have the things that I want, and build those relationships. And I have a checklist. I make sure that, okay, well, where are your values? Where are your morals? Where are those types of things? And if it kind of aligned with what I'm doing, I said, I'm all about that. So finished my time December 2017, came over here to Frisco, Texas. My big brother over here, he let me stay with him for a little bit, Kevin Bonner. And then around about a couple months later, came over in Fort Worth, Texas. My wife came here. She was pregnant with Micah. That's another story. I know you're going to ask about family. She was pregnant. She was over in Okinawa, Japan, while I was here in the States. So I was settled in the States. And then about August time frame, August 7th, August the 4th, my baby boy Micah was born. I'm loving life, and it's an absolute blessing to actually be here to serve.
Yeah. What's so cool is I love this is all the comments that are coming up here that, former military men and women, putting some stuff in the comments and everybody watching. I just think that's so cool that, you not only are you such a good person when you're in the Marine Corps, but, the love is out there for you from a lot of different areas. And I think that, somebody just wrote iron sharpens iron, and that's so true, and that's your mantra. I mean, that really iron sharpens iron is a great way to talk about who you are as a person, right? The things that you do as a person. How about, we've known each other just a couple of days now, and I see it that you pour into everybody, that you pour into building those relationships. But before we get there a little bit more, talk about your family. I want to hear a little bit more about that.
I'm going to take you back to when I met my wife.
Yeah.
I know
you heard that earlier. So so we need to hear your story.
I love to dance. I went through a divorce, and then I called myself going back out there in the field, so to speak. I said, let me go back out to the club. So I went out there, to Okinawa, Japan. As a mama, went out there to Okinawa, Japan, and I was doing my little hammer time and my Bobby Brown on the dance floor. And I saw this beautiful lady that was right in front of me. I was like, who is that? Come to find out, she was watching my dance move. She's probably hearing me right now. She was watching my dance move, and I found out that she kind of likes the old school.
Yeah.
So, lo and behold, we end up getting together. I had orders over to Equal Opportunity Advisor School. So it was on like a couple months. It was actually the day after her birthday. So
Yeah.
she went out on her birthday, then the day after that. And then, I came back from school a couple months later, January 31st of 2015, we were married, and
Oh, wow.
we had our thing going on as far as, we had the American side, and we have, I'll be transparent with this, we have the American side, we had the Japanese side. I am Coco Gaijin.
Okay.
It's kind of difficult, as far as the races and things like that, because of the culture of the Japanese. So I had to say to myself, I have to be the example to show them that I'm not that type of person,
Yeah.
because what they see is what they see on television, but they don't understand the person. And so someone told me, whenever y'all have kids, then probably all of that's going to change. So lo and behold, I finished from my retirement, and then she came over here in May of 2018, and Micah was born.
Yeah.
So we went probably around about last year, around about September timeframe. Parents really didn't like me. I can be honest, they can agree. They really didn't like me at all. But then I went over there, and she was scared. She was still kind of scared. I was still kind of scared because we didn't know what they were going to say. Opened up this door, and things totally changed.
Wow.
She was like, Micah. It was a total opposite. And so I knew that I was doing my part. And so if I can make a difference in somebody's life like that, just imagine what somebody else could do. And the whole time, I never talked down on them. I believe in the platinum rule. I heard you talk about the golden rule. Golden rule, treat everybody like they want to be treated. Platinum rule, treat everybody better than they ought to be treated. And that's how I treated them. And that's how I treat every single person. So getting back to my family, my wife is an absolute blessing.
Yeah.
Micah's learning Japanese, she's learning English, and also, we watching some Nickelodeons, learn some Spanish at the same time.
Yeah.
And watching him grow every single day and being there for him every single day, because right now I'm not in the other room, I'm in here.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful. And my family means absolute everything to me. And I just want to do my part each and every day, Matt, to be the best example as a husband and as a father that I could possibly be.
Wow. And yeah. Yeah. And that's how it has to be. You truly have to be, your family is everything. My wife and my kids are everything to me, and it's such a good thing. So my son is 23, and then my daughter's 20, and then my other daughter is 16. I have such a tight relationship with all of my wife, but with all of my kids, and she has such a tight relationship with our kids, that it's incredible. It's incredible. And you know what? I mean, I'll brag about it. I don't know if it could be any better, the relationship that I have with my family and my kids. And I'm so proud of that. But it goes back to, again, what you are talking about today: building relationships on a foundation of faith and pouring into people, right? I pour into my family. My wife pours into my family. And I know that you and your wife do the same thing. And that is just so important, So when as a Marine, right, and as a father and as a husband, that's what we're supposed to do, right? That's what Jesus tells us to do.
Yes, sir. And I always say this: the greatest said, "Well, follow this leader, follow this leader, follow this." I follow one, follow one. He's the leader, the most perfect person. There's no flaws. Like I believe Boo or I believe she said that there's no flaws. So it's one person. I have to follow anyone. It's him, and I can't go wrong with him. So my focus is, what can I do to be the best example that I could be? Because everybody makes mistakes. There's nobody here on this earth that's perfect. So I say to myself, if I had to follow that, I want to make sure that I follow that example. So that's everything that I do. I don't preach to anyone. I just do my best to be the best example I could possibly be, because we know the Marine Corps, one of the leadership principles, is setting the example.
Yeah.
And I always take it another level, because the standards, I always say to myself, be the example. If anybody's going to be the example of positivity, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Matt? If anybody's going to be the example of enthusiasm, who's it going to be? If anybody's going to be the example of upliftment, who's it going to be? So I always believe in just being the example at all times, because I believe that God watches every single thing that we do.
Yes.
None of us can hide from that. Just like what's going on in the world. There's a lot of fear that's going on in the world. So right now, just being the example, being a person that's showing that sign of strength, it can help a lot of people along the way. And I built so many relationships with people that I don't even know. By them watching my videos and by them talking to me offline, hey, you changed my life. But I owe that. I turn it back. It's not me. I look up. All the glory always goes to God, So definitely building relationships. And I say this with that foundation because it keeps me grounded every single day. What would Jesus do? Would God be pleased with what I'm saying? Would God be pleased with what I'm doing? If God's not going to be pleased, I'm not going to do it. Yeah. Period. So that's my check, and I don't preach to anyone about that. I just do my best, like I said before, to set the example and be the example.
Well, and you heard me talking in the last interview, talking to, with Boo, is that, I've tried to teach my kids that, again, if you would not like it, they would not like it. So don't treat people in a way that you would not like, and it goes back to what you're saying. If Jesus would not like it, and that's not how he would expect us to treat people, don't treat them that way, and that's the facts. That's just how it should be. It goes back into that good leadership, like you're talking about in the Marine Corps versus the bad leadership, right? We didn't like bad leadership. Anytime we had a bad leader in the Marine Corps, I mean, that's the worst thing in the world. But if you're not taking that inventory, like you talked about, of a good leader versus a bad leader, right? How you treat people, you can talk all day long. We can talk all day long, about obviously there's rank structure in the military, right? Let's talk about this. Let's get real about this. There's rank structure in the military, right?
Right.
Don't mean there's not a mutual respect. It does not mean that, we may have a rank structure, but we still treat people how we want to be treated. We treat people with dignity and respect along those lines. And we treat, and a true leader leads, right? And pours into his people, right?
And I'm going to touch on this. And some of my Marines, with doctrine and those, they're probably going to be mad at me for saying this, but they know me as being very, very real. So we have mission accomplishment and troop welfare. The whole time I was in the Marine Corps, I flipped it.
Yeah.
I said, how in the world can we accomplish the mission if we don't take care of our Marines?
Yeah.
We don't take care of our own. We can't mentor them the way that we want to mentor them. We can't advise them the way we want to advise them. Be there for them, because if you be there for them, they're going to be there for you, and the mission is going to be accomplished. So yes, at an early age, I saw it, and I said to myself, I can't be that way. I always got to make sure I take care of my Marines, because if I take care of my Marines, I know my Marines have families. I know my Marines have families outside of the base. So if I can pour into them and give them something that they can actually take with them, I can indirectly change lives all around the country and all around the world just by me pouring into one individual, so, and I learned every single step along the way. I said, well, who's going to be left back? Who's next up? Who's next up? And I identified those people, that kind of had those values. I saw a lot of things inside of them. Okay, I took them under my wing, and I keep mentoring. To this day, I'm still doing it. Keep mentoring, because the day the mentorship stops for me and advising and pouring is the day God calls me home. Yeah. So until then, I'm going to continue to give everybody that's in my path 100% of me.
Love that, man. I love that. I love it. And I feel the same way. That's the way. One of the things that makes it, that I love is I love the way that you have such good relationships with your fellow Marines. And I love the same thing. I love how my Marines and Marines I serve with and my peers and it done again. Look, when we're in the Marine Corps and we have that brotherhood, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It just continues to go every single day, and man, we I was in, everybody has their unit that was like, that was the one, that was my favorite one, HMM 365, from 97 to 2002 is when I was in that. And on Facebook and everywhere we go, we are constantly just communicating, constantly talking. Don't matter if you're an officer, you're enlisted, you're a mechanic, you're a airframe, you're a pilot, it doesn't even matter. We are just like this. And it's because we took care of each other, right? We went to combat twice. We were in Afghanistan 2001, right at the beginning. We just poured into each other. And I don't think that you get units like that all the time, but that's the unit that we were in. It was incredible. I love it.
Yes, sir. And man, it comes back full circle. It's so many people that I serve with, this, being in the Marine Corps, that they'll come back in your life, and them come back in your life. I remember when you said this a long time ago. It's what you said to me a long time ago at Chase. I'm not going to name any names. I was a staff sergeant. I think I was a staff sergeant, maybe gunner sergeant, over at MWSS 171. I was on duty. And there was a young man that got in trouble. I think he's a master of giving up the story. But he was on duty. He came to me, and I didn't look at him as far as what he did. I always told him this. I said, I really don't know what happened to you in the past. I know you right now, clean slate. I said, what can I do for you to help you become a better Marine?
Yeah.
And I don't know what I did or what I said. I can't remember. But then what I said to him, it took him, he was a meritorious, went from private to meritorious private first class. I kept pouring into him. Went to meritorious lance corporal, went to meritorious corporal, went to meritorious sergeant, went to meritorious staff sergeant, served on the drill field. He might be watching this right now. I can't drop any names right now. Yeah. And I believe that he's a gunnery sergeant or either first sergeant, going to be a first sergeant or master sergeant. And just moments like that just let me know, God, you put me here for a reason. Yeah. That's why I'm here. I'm here to serve. I'm here to give who's ever in my path, not looking at their past, not looking at any negativities and saying that because God, we're all washed. Yeah. We're all washed. There's nobody is going to go out there and be that person going to be perfect. So I said to myself, I can't be that person that's going to knock on that person. I can be here to help them. And now this gentleman is doing a lot of amazing things right now. Has a family that's doing well. We're on Facebook that we keep in contact. And I just wanted to share that story because we should never give up on people. No matter who we are. Because the same people that may be passing by you, that you may be doubting, like, man, I don't know if they're going to make it. That same Marine, that same sailor, that same airman, whoever it is, the soldier, that could be someone that can change the face of the earth only because you believe in them. And that's my walk every single day, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I got a story for you too. It made me think of that. I was on duty one night and I was at the squadron. And so I got called to the barracks because some young Marines were a little bit doing something they shouldn't have done. Right. So I was a couple years out of college. Right. So the barracks, after hours, no different than a college dorm. Right. So I go over there and there the duty is from the barracks and, they're all fired up. Right. And, so they take me up to the room, open the door. You know what it was? So some of the young Marines just had a couple girls sitting in their room that they had met out in town. Right. Okay. Right. So I have a choice at that point. Right. Because the duty had already written the report that they wanted to send up the chain to, they were ready to just take them down, because that's what the rules said. Right. So I was like, hey, y'all just give me a minute. And I closed the door with these young Marines. And I'm like, okay, we got some choices here. What's the rules? What are you supposed to be doing? And we talked about it. I'm like, so that was a point where I could have done one or two things. I could have played hard lieutenant. Let me go by the rules. Let me run these guys up to command. Let them be standing in front for some office hours. Or I could talk to them like young men and say, the rules, what's going on. Not different than I was 2 years ago or 3 years ago when I was in college, right? So, and so it was those points. And those one of those Marines came back a couple of months ago. Not a couple of months ago, but a couple of months later, I'll never forget. And he was like, thank you, because you could have totally changed, my outlook and what was going on. It was a choice. It was, they could learn from that moment, or they could, do what some people would do and just run them up, let's put them up for office hours,
I got something that The people that's closest to me, they probably don't know this story. I don't know if I should be here talking to you right now because of what happened to me back in 1995.
Yeah.
Back in 1995, my first, when I was over in Okinawa, Japan, I was 7th Car Battalion. I have what the twins, you can look on Facebook, you figure I got twins. So the twins, they said, we want to have a party. We're over at the Bears. You talk about Bears. We're at the Bears, not saying we're not supposed to have this alcohol in the rooms. We had Seagram 7 and those types of things. So I'm a competitive guy. Those that know me, I'm a very, very competitive guy. I can't stand losing. So one of the guys, he challenged me. One of the twins challenged me, like, oh, yeah, you can't drink more than I can. I said, yes, I can. Next thing I know, I found myself drinking it. It felt like the water coming. I was numb. I was numb. I drank the whole thing in a short amount of time. Next thing I knew, I woke up in the morning. I had mess duty. Mess duty, you have to be up there at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about what they call new school turn up.
Yeah.
So I was turning up in 1995, or getting lit up in 1995. And I found myself in the bathtub the next morning, naked.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got in the bathtub, but I said, I got my duty, so I had to go and put on my white uniform. I went over to the mess hall, and one of the staff sergeants looked at me, and my face, it was very, very, it was like white.
Yeah.
He looked at me and said, hey, go back. And I thought, if he didn't do that, if he could have done, you could have done that. You could, because, there's more than the power of the pen, just be someone that's understanding. So he could have been that person that could have ended my Marine Corps career right there in 1995. And I said to myself, if that would have happened, I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I wouldn't have the friends that I have in my life. I wouldn't have my wife, Kiyomi. I wouldn't have my baby boy, Micah. So I just thank God for people like yourself that did that, and people like, I can't even remember the staff sergeant's name that actually totally changed my life, So I just want to make sure I throw that back out to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you have a choice, right? You have a choice. You can lift people up, you can talk to them, and you can make a difference in their life, or sometimes you can take them down, right? And so in those two cases right there, both very similar story. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes, Monty. We all make mistakes. Every single one of us, right? And so we all deserve that second chance. We all deserve that opportunity to really kind of grow from our mistakes and kind of teach others from our stories and lift people up from our mistakes and our lessons learned, right? So I think it's so important because you probably walked away from that night with a whole different outlook, a completely different outlook. So
I sure did. Wow. You took me back there. You took me back.
I took you back to it. That's right. But I had a choice, right? I could have, like you said, the power of the pen. The report was right there. All I had to do was sign it, and those guys would have been standing tall the next day. Been standing tall. You know that. Know that. You've seen Marines standing tall. Right. So, yeah, interesting. Yeah. So some of the things that you do, like, let's talk about some of the things that you do and how you lift people up. So, you have a team, a business where you lift people up and financially and all that. You coach still basketball to this day. So talk a little bit about both of those things.
Yeah, first and foremost, the business, the travel club I'm in, travel companies, World Ventures. And I got started with that in August the 7th of 2014. And the reason why I got started, because it's all about the why. A plug for a book, Start With Why by Simon Sinek. It's a plug. And that was my why. My why was my hometown, because I saw my hometown as a town that I love. I never turned my back on. I said, what can I do for my family? What can I do for the people in my hometown that help them reach and exceed every single goal they have set for themselves? But I didn't know how to do it, but then I was blessed to be, just shown this opportunity a long time ago, and it totally changed my life. And when I started, the team that I have right now is Driven Worldwide, Driven Nation. I said from day one, I said, I'm going to build it on the foundation of faith. Day one, but I was the only one on the team. Only one. I said, I'm going to build it on the foundation of faith. I said, it's not going to be about travel. It's not going to be about business. It's going to be about family. So I tell my team this. I know a lot of my team members on here right now. I said, if you need me 24/7, 366, because this year's your leap year. So 24/7, 366, I'm on the clock for you. You don't work for me. I work for you. I want whatever your goals are, I'm going to help you get to your goals until I'm dead and gone. You ready to run with me? Let's go ahead and run. So, we travel, we do that, and we do business. But the most important thing out of that is actually, just establish those relationships and building those relationships. But as far as coaching, I don't coach right now, but I coached in the past. I coached 3 different levels. I had youth sports that I coached in Okinawa, Japan, and then on Okinawa, Japan, Kadena, and then Foster. And then I had what we call the big kids. I call it the male basketball team. It's kind of intramural level, semi-pro level, the male team, and I had the female team. And so the story with how I got started coaching in Okinawa, Japan, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of my former players on here. I was ended up coaching the female team. They were called the Lady Kings. I don't know why. I didn't make up the name. So they had another team called the Cancer Kings. And the coach for the Cancer Kings, the male team, she had to go to surgery. But she didn't know I was the type of person in the background. I was talking to the different players on the team, on the Cancer Kings team, because they wanted to get advice from me because they saw how I was coaching the females. Yeah. And so she went for surgery. By the time she come back, I was already the head coach. And I was coaching ever since then. But my whole thing, I always told my teams this, and I'm going to talk about the youth sports. I'm going to talk about the 2 other teams. I said, always play the game to triple zeros. Yeah. I don't care if we win or lose. As long as you leave everything on the floor, I can care less. Because at the end of the day, how you finish one game is how you're going to start the next game. So I'm not going to have my team dribbling out the basketball or giving up on defense. No, you play in defense all the way until the clock sounds. I said, you worry about what you got going on the floor. I'll focus on the clock. I have the timeouts. I have the clipboard and all of that. And the same thing in youth sports, I had to tone it down. I was coaching airmen, Marines, soldiers, and also sailors at the time on both teams. There's some civilians as far as the male and female team. Yeah. So I said, now I'm going to coach youth sports. Okay, Monte, you got to tone it down a little bit. Okay, now you got 12, like 13, 14, and 15-year-olds, and they have parents. And so my thing with building relationships, I want to meet the parents first. I want the parents to get to know me first before I even coach them in the basketball. I want to make sure they got buy-in to me first. And so once they got buy-in to me, it wasn't just about basketball with the youth, because I'm big on the youth. It's about what can I do to help you be a better young man, young woman, growing up, in this world. So in all my teams, the youth sports, the male team, and the female team, I always focus on not just the basketball, but we talk about life. After games are over, after practices are over, because maybe someone that's in the Marine Corps that has an issue going on at work, or maybe they want mentorship and guidance they're not in my chain of command, or they're not working with me, but I can offer them some advice so that way I can help them. So it wasn't really about the sports, which I thought I was a pretty good coach. It was about the relationships and what can I do for you to help you become a better player often, not just on the court, because what coach wants to put somebody in a position to be unsuccessful on the court? That's a bad coach. So I always want to put my players in a position to become successful on the court, but most importantly, off the court.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you and I had this conversation the other day because I coach high school soccer. And I'm going to tell another story to go along with it. But I believe that our job is to build young men and young women up, right? The reality of it is, you're to go and play college sports, or to go and, to make it to that higher level. It's so slim, right? But life goes on, and you are making young men and young women, and you can instill those values in them and that drive in them, and you can teach them so much about life. So it's really about teaching them about life and lifting them up and giving them confidence in themselves, And so I'll tell this one story is that I had last year at the end of soccer. I told you this the other day. We had the banquet, and so when we had the banquet, this lady came up to me afterwards, and I gotta be honest, I just had hip surgery. So I was kind of, hurting, and I was watching the team video. This one mom took pictures all year. And so after it was over, and I was kind of watching the slideshow, but not really watching the slideshow, we lost the state championship in the last 3 minutes of the game. It was cold. It was miserable, So but one of the things that happened is she came up to me after the banquet and she said, Matt, did you see the slideshow? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, no. Did you watch the slideshow? And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I kind of pay attention. She goes, no, you're not getting what I'm saying. She said, Matt, there was 8 pictures of you in the slideshow with varsity and JV players hugging you. And she said, I've never seen anything like that. She goes, you're the only one that's in there with pictures of kids hugging you. And she goes, her son was a senior. She goes, I just want to thank you for pouring into these kids, and that's what it's about. You know what I mean? That's what it's about is yeah, we lost the state championship. We had 1 kid off that team going on to play in college of our seniors. We had 13 seniors, but they lost the state championship, right? They made it all the way there. But it's lifting them up and pouring them in. And I think sometimes coaches, they lose that. Coaches and parents, I'm going to say parents, I'm going to throw parents in there as well. Coaches and parents forget about that. What the true purpose of sports are, what the true purpose of coaching is. And, yeah, there's winning and there's losing, but there's also just learning about life,
Absolutely. And I tell you, Matt, I mean, you're a difference maker. And the thing about it is you were the glue. You didn't know it because you were naturally doing the right thing. But a lot of people, they really didn't get it. And you really didn't get it until after the end. But now, man, I mean, because think about this. You changing so many lives back then, and you still change your lives now. Just imagine the impact you made on them, those same players, and what they're doing right now. Just that moment, just about you taking out that time, to actually, not just because I know you just weren't talking about sports. It was about life. And you just wanted to see them succeed and watch them rise and watch them win. I just believe it actually going to come back around, man. And that's why you're the person you are right now. That's why we're on this podcast. And shout out to Grace and Marshall too, who reached out to me. And that's rare. Real is rare. Transparency is rare. Relationships, you got some people that want your time. You got some people that deserve your time. And you're a person that definitely people that, if I had someone that deserves my time right now, oh yeah, Matt's one of those people.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this, Monte. Give me just a moment. This is you, brother. So I don't know if you can see the comments, right? Monte is the truth and one of the most selfless men I know. He builds on the foundation of faith. There it is, the platinum rule, God, family, and everything else. And then, it just goes on, Monte. So Monte is so true. You never know whose life needs a word from you. Wow, I love your heart. This is something that I was saying when I was in Germany. So, Monte, there's people that keep making comments about you. And I want to tell you, brother, this is because you are who you are. This is because of the soul that you have and the faith in God that you have. So, these are comments because people believe in you, but there's comments because you believe in them, because you pour into them. It's because you build that foundation for them. And so, yeah, those are kind words that you're saying to me, but I'm going to give the kind words right back to you because it's all about building people up. And you're doing that, right? You're doing that. And you see that from the love that people are pouring out to you on this. So that's big kudos to you, brother. I mean, that's really what it is. I mean, listen, it is, you're doing great things and you're helping people and you're building those relationships. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, Matt, I only got one shot. I only got one shot in this life. You heard it saying there's only 2 guarantees in life, death and taxes. I think Ray Charles said that. But I'm going to share a story. Some people know this, some people don't know this. Another one, back in 1996. Back in 1996, it was a club in my hometown, outside of my hometown, called the Cadillac Ranch. I'm a country boy, you can tell by my accent. Called the Cadillac Ranch. And so went out there at the time, before I was married. I had then my girlfriend, my brother, Chris, I used the name. He had then his girlfriend at the time. And so we said, if something happened in the club, then we're going to leave. And lo and behold, they were throwing bottles and all kinds of things, glass all over the place. Like, hey, they broke, let's go, let's get out. And so I was walking, kind of like I'm walking, and I could see somebody in my peripheral. I saw them in my peripheral, and I was walking a little bit more, and I didn't see them. And I'm not going to use any profanities, but I did back in the day. They said, well, that's the MF right there. They hit my brother with a 9mm that was blood gushing out the side of his face. And
Yeah.
so I'm a lightweight. I'm like 140 pounds.
Yeah.
So just like someone messed with Matt, we got a problem. Someone messed with Grace, and someone messed with the people that left those comments. We got a problem because you're family.
Yeah.
So God forgive me, but you were messing with my blood, and so and it turned out to be a gang. We call them YGs or whatever it was nowadays. And so I remember having this one guy kept ramming his head into this white edge. I could still, it's vivid. I was
Yeah.
ramming his head into the SUV, ramming his head. Then I got hit in my back, my shoulders, the back of my head. God pulled up 9mm to my forehead, right here, cold steel.
Yeah.
I said, "What are you gonna do, bro? Pull the trigger." I looked death in the eyes right then and there. God intervened. He called me some names, and I'm here today.
Yeah.
And what would have happened if he would have pulled that trigger? But then I knew I said, God put me here for a reason. God put me here because I see what's going on in the community. Maybe I could do something to be a better person to give to the community. Maybe I could be a better brother. Maybe I could be a better uncle. Maybe I could be the best person I could possibly be, because I only got one shot. I only got one life to live.
Yeah.
This life I'm living right now, I can't waste my shots. I can't sit back and settle. I have to give everybody. Even if they give me 10%, I'm gonna give you 100.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm built. So even if they don't give me everything that they got, I'm gonna give you everything I got, because what's gonna happen if you don't see me tomorrow? If I'm sitting here right here and people know me, I'm very real. If I'm looking at Matt right now and I'm saying, I'm gonna give you 99%.
Yeah. I think you paused there for a second.
Make sure that I share that story with you.
Yeah. So you paused there for a second, for about 10 seconds. So.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But it's just the last 10 seconds. But I feel you. You're going to give everything you got. You're going to pour into people, and that's what you do. But that's what building a relationships on a foundation of faith is, right? Again, Jesus wanted us to pour into our fellow man, right? Our fellow man and woman. That's what we're here to do. We're here to live in his image and pour into each other, right? That's what it's all about. If you're not lifting your fellow man up, then you're not doing what God intended us for us to do. And I truly believe that. I believe that in every single inch of my body, that if I'm not pouring into you, Monte, then I'm wrong, because that's not how Jesus intended it to be. We're here to pour into each other. So that's how you live every day, man. I can tell,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's my life, and I'm going to continue to do this, and Paul, because I get kind of animated, because I'm so fired up about about helping others, because we only have one life to live. If we don't help others achieve their goals and chase their dreams, why are we here? I mean, we could be alive, but we're not living. And I just believe in just living to give, because there's the greatest gift that anybody can ever give is themselves, is their time, because we know time. There's no flux capacitors. There's no 1.21 gigawatts. There's no monument flies going to blast anybody to the past to fix anything. So it's like, if I'm giving you my time, I have to be very intentional and give you everything, every single thing that I have. So you're absolutely right. As long as we follow that model, which is my Lord and Savior, your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, there's no possible way that we can go wrong. And that's the model I live by each and every day, and just building that foundation in each and every person, so that way I can build a stronger relationship with them.
Yeah, that's outstanding. That is so outstanding. And so, yeah, I mean, look, what else can we say? I mean, how else can we close this out? That was awesome. It's, it's beautiful. Somebody just wrote, I thank you for leaving today empty by you both pouring into us on this blessed platform. And he put number 6, chapter 24 through 26, So, man, listen, this has been awesome. I have loved getting to know you. I do want to ask everybody to do one thing. I don't know who is here at the beginning. It'll take me just a second to transition. So if you're watching, before you log off, I want everybody just to listen to the song that we started with. And I don't know if y'all who heard that, if you heard that, Monte, it's my niece sang 2 songs. So I want to go out the way we came in tonight. But I'm asking everybody that's on here, and there's a lot of people on here, so I'm asking everybody that's on here to just, stick around, don't log off, and let's just close tonight like we started it with my niece singing. But first, before we go there, man, Semper Fi first, that's the truth. Yep, same back to you. But hey, let's keep our friendship up. Let's keep pouring into people. Let's keep making a difference. You're doing amazing things. And I've just loved getting to know you. And this is just the beginning of such a special relationship. So I'll let you close it out with a couple of words, and then I'm going to get this song ready to go while you're closing it out.
Yes, sir. And first and foremost, and just like always, just giving honor to God, and to God be every bit of the glory. I'm just going to ask everybody to stay safe out there, because we know we're living in a world right now that's uncertain. But one thing's for certain, God is certain. And God gives us everything inside of us to achieve and believe in ourselves. So I ask, together, it's not about a me mentality, it's about a we mentality. We together can change this world, one life at a time. So let's not hold each other back. Reach out to those that you love the most, you care for the most, and tell them that you love them, because it could be the very last day. So Matt, man, thank you for everything you're doing. I saw the beginning. I saw your niece earlier. I'm definitely going to stay on it. Please listen in, because she is absolutely amazing. So
yeah, you saw, man, it brought me to tears. When we were starting this, she truly did. It brought me to tears. But hey, listen, tomorrow we have a great set of speakers. So make sure you're watching. We start again at 10 o'clock in the morning. We go, most of the day. We have wonderful speakers. And so just come be a part of Christians Unite tomorrow, and reach out to me. I look forward to getting to know you. You can find out more about Convene on convenecommunities.com, or reaching out to Monte. I'll talk to him more about it too. But really, it's just tonight was about bringing Christians together. It's something we don't do enough. And in this country right now and everywhere across the world, we need to bring Christians together. That's what we're here for. So Monte, I love you, man. I appreciate you. And I look forward to getting to know you more. And we'll close it out with my niece singing here.
Love you too, brother.